What's up, everybody? Dan Warmby with Keller Williams, West Ventura County here. Hope everyone's doing great. This week, I had an interesting realization. I had a client who preferred to organize their files via physical hard copy. So I was in the kind of unusual position these days of printing out an entire closed file for them, which I was happy to do. But it was really interesting seeing all 450 pages or so of a closed home sale file in one big pile. It really drove home for me, for people who don't do this day in and day out. The entire process, when you take it as a whole, can be really overwhelming. It made me think about the last time I felt a little overwhelmed, and that was when I went skydiving for the first time. I'd been wanting to go skydiving ever since I was a kid, and I finally got a chance to do it here recently on vacation. It was a great experience, but one thing that stuck out for me was that it was how the tandem instructor handled the whole process. I tend to be a pretty analytical person, and I had looked into it quite a bit, and I had this expectation that there would be an extensive amount of training on the ground before we jumped. And that actually turned out not to be the case. The instructor was super competent, but when I asked about things that would happen way into the process, he told me, we'll get to it when it's time. And it took me a minute to realize that he wasn't like withholding things from me. It was because he did this day in and day out, and he'd gotten really good at managing people's anxiety around what can be a really stressful process sometimes. When it was really time to jump, he told me, keep my head back and kick my legs back. And, when we were under canopy, he let me fly a little bit. But when we got closer to the ground, he took the controls back and he just said, don't touch anything above your shoulders or we'll both die. It got the point across pretty quickly, to say the least. He gave me some pointers on how to land, and just before we did, and everything ended up perfectly. It was a really great experience, and the whole process wasn't all that different than how realtors should be working with our clients. Home buying and selling can be an exciting and stressful process, just like jumping out of an airplane. And one of your realtor's jobs in that process is to help you chunk it down and only address the parts of the process that you have the ability to do something about when you have the ability to do something about them. So I guess the take home here is, when you're picking a realtor to work with, whether you're buying or selling, one of the things you should really be looking for is someone you have rapport with, yeah, but also somebody who has the confidence to help you chunk down the process and deal with what's important when it's important to deal with it. Anyway, I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have an awesome rest of your week, everybody.